So the goal of this video is to introduce array destructuring in JavaScript. Imagine you visit a supermarket. You pick some items and you pack them in bags. When you get home, one by one, you unpack these items and you put them away. When we are writing code, we can use destructuring as a way to unpack or pick out certain elements from data structures, such as objects and arrays, and then we can place these elements into their own independent variables. Before ES6, if we wanted to pick out certain elements from a data structure, such as an array, we had to use the index of the element and then save it into a variable. Let's look at how we would approach this. So we'll start by declaring a variable called days and assign to this an array. In this array, we will place the 7 days of the week as strings. Next, we'll declare 3 variables: first, second, and third. We want to get the first, second, and third elements from the days array. Inside the first, using bracket notation, we will get the first element, so the element at the index of 0. In the second, we'll get the second element, so this is at the index of 1. In the third, we'll get the third element, so the element at the index of 2. Now let's add console logs for the first, second, and third variables, and we'll go ahead and run this. We get the first 3 elements of the days array printed out to our screen. Whilst this approach works, there is a much simpler way to solve this problem, and this uses array destructuring. Using destructuring, we can pick out the required elements in one line of code. To do this, we create an array, and inside of the array, we place the names we wish to call the variables for the elements to be assigned to. Next, we use the equals operator and set it to the name of the array where you wish to pick the elements from. The variables in the array will be set to the equivalent value of the element in the initial array based upon the position of that element. Let's take a look at the original example, but this time using destructuring. So we still have our days array, but now using destructuring, we'll create an array using const. We'll set this equal to the days array. Inside of the array, we will add the variables first, second, and third. These will be the names for the variables we wish to assign our elements to. Let's run this code again. We get the same return value. There are some additional features of array destructuring worth understanding. Destructuring also allows us to skip an index of an element by using a comma. So if we wanted to pick out the first, second, and fourth elements from the days array, we would use this approach. So let's go back to our example and try this. We'll add a comma where our third element was, and then add a variable for the fourth element. Let's also add a console log for this variable. Let's run this again. And now, as you can see, we get Thursday printed to the screen for the fourth element. Another thing we can do with array destructuring is to use the rest operator to collect the remaining values from the initial array into one variable. Let's give this a go. So we will remove everything but the variable first, and now using the rest operator to collect everything else in a variable called remaining days. Let's also update our console logs, and then we'll run this code. This time we get Monday as the first element. The remaining days variable now contains everything else in the array except Monday. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more content.